And this past week, shame, I was on my worst behavior. I was behaving like my father. So if we backed ourselves the way China's trying to back us, the way Russia's trying to back us, then these wars would be futile. Yeah. Israel wouldn't be able to become the colonial power that they want to become. Donald Trump, he's not the person, guys, he's a wishy-washy person. He's all about his money, hey? Yeah. He even said he doesn't care about the war. He just wants his money. I think if the US decided that they're not going to back Israel anymore, a lot of secrets would be dropped.
Now, at least we've got something really positive that is happening in the African continent. I mean, we call it now the Ibrahim Traore effect, that we really pray for, I guess, that, certain leaders can really just adapt to that philosophy. And that's why the US government, wants to ban TikTok completely, because they understand this is a propaganda machine. When you are in China, the algorithm shows you, it doesn't show the girls that are dancing on TikTok. In China, the content that pops up on the timeline is very different. The content that pops up on the timeline is the content that is actually motivating. It shows kids that are building, real stuff, like a car or a house in the kindergarten.
You're saying that the focus is Mapiano right now because of prominence. It's what the people want, right? But there are other genres. It's so boring hearing piano from 6 p.m. at the club until 3 a.m. in the morning. Guys, can we focus on other genres?
So for me, it's not solemnly from listening to it from a groove perspective. It's more on being interested on the business side of things and where it's going and where it's headed. You get me? So just like recently, Wafla dropped
who?
Uncle Waffles.
Oh, okay. You love Uncle Waffles, my guy. Do you have a crush on her or what?
No. She's quite dope. Okay. Business-wise, music-wise, she's top tier. You need to understand, she understands music and how the elements of business interlink. So you take a look at his song, Zenzele. It's quite making moves in Africa, the globe, Europe. You see kids at schools doing their challenge. It's quite incredible to watch, and it's quite terrific.
It's the current song now.
Yeah, it's quite booming. I think even when it comes to the challenges that have been done on TikTok, it's quite the one that is leading the pack. Wow. Zenzele. Check it out. It's quite dope. School kids are doing their challenges. When last have you seen kids doing challenges from a song or being excited about music as such? So it's quite making a difference, a huge difference in the community, and kids gravitating to
if I would ask you to describe your week using a song, what would be that song?
2 of America's Most Wanted by Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Why going that far? I thought you were going to come up with some Uncle Waffles.
No, look, I love piano just as much as the next person, but I am a hip hop girly through and through. Yeah. So I'm always listening to hip hop music. And this past week, shame, I was on my worst behavior. I was behaving like my father. So
what is this worst behavior?
So I went to, there's a place there in my hood, Deep Kloof Square.
Yeah.
And at Nando's, the workers were fighting. They were protesting. So because, I'm always the person, I want to find out what's going on in my hood, right? So I went there to find out, and only to realize that they haven't been paid for a certain amount of time, and they're fighting for workers' rights and things like that. So that's what I mean when I was I was on my worst behavior. I was exposing the things that happen within my kasi.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you, Theo, I just want to come back. So that Nando's thing is very interesting. Maybe we give us a bit of context. But describe your week using, at least one song.
Zenzele, I told you, bro.
Okay.
Zenzele. The thing is, it births the right of admission for creatives to be. You get me? It revives the spirit. The minute you listen to that song or whatever challenge that you'll be looking at, it revives you into seeing the creative side of you as a person, how you can make the challenge different. You get me? So stuff like that, quite unique and quite different.
Wow.
So for me, it was that, and also I got a contact from one of my good friends from Birmingham. She's a DJ, Rachel Fox. So she was looking for music from me to link her up with other DJs from South Arabian artists to send her music. So she plays in countries like Nigeria, Uganda.
She does Amapiano.
Yeah. You should
Wow.
check her out on IG, Rachel Fox. Yeah, she's quite dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope her music is dope. Also, maybe I can check her out. Let's officially welcome our members on the Monday segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Break It Down Mondays. My name is Elvis Mulifimolf, and I'm with Theo M as well as Kat MPH. And you know how we do it here every Monday, 3 p.m. That's how we roll. We give you the latest updates in terms of current affairs, in politics, and some of the stories, of course, that are very interesting that we think you can actually learn a lot from them. So maybe Kat, you can break that one down because I want us to speak about Israel as well. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about Israel now.
Funny.
A lot of bad things happened there during 2024.
They continue to.
And they continue
They're
to
still
happen
happening.
now. Yeah, they're still happening right now.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the media's attention now is focused somewhere else.
As
and
per usual.
I ask myself that, is it because we struggle to catch up with what's happening in the world, or the media itself drives the narrative itself? Because when you look at now, we're focused more on the tariffs, right? The tariff war. No one is actually thinking about, what's been happening in Israel? How many, they were tracking in 2024, how many people are dying each and every day? At least 90 have been bombed in Palestine. Today, you don't hear anything, but the war is not actually
over.
Over. So
Yeah.
what do we have? What do you think?
So I read a tweet somewhere, right, which is what sparked my interest behind Israel all over again, where someone was saying that we'll come to find out that Israel and the US are influencing all these micro wars that are happening around these countries. So predominantly, let's start with
In the Middle East or around the world?
around the world.
No way.
So we're going to start with Palestine, right? So the main focus behind that war is they occupied the Gaza Strip, it's got natural gas, which is what the Israelites want, basically.
Okay.
They want to control that gas.
Yeah.
So by eliminating the Palestinians, it means it becomes then vacant land and it becomes their land.
own, yeah.
That's how they've been. It's not something new, just by the way. It's something that they've been strategically doing in different countries. For example, now we have India and Pakistan that are fighting against each other. These are both nuclear based countries, right? And they are the leading producers of what? Natural gas as well. So obviously, if it's a nuclear war, one country is definitely going to eliminate the other.
Of course. Yeah.
And they have no assistance, these two countries, right? Russia said they'll get involved, apparently, right? Vlad is apparently initiating a peace talk between the two. His influence is also because he's one of the biggest producers of oil and gas, right? So he's seeing what Israel and the US is doing. He's trying to counter that with China. So essentially, if, let's say, for example, Pakistan loses, right? Israel gains control over that natural gas.
Sure. Yeah.
So they want to be the sole provider, right? There's also the war happening in the DRC, which is, it's seen as a tribal war. That's what they want to push in the media, right?
Yeah.
The Rwandan tribes and the tribes in the DRC.
Yeah.
But when you dig deeper, there are a lot of minerals that are in the DRC because now these Rwandan rebel groups are forcefully taking land now, right? They're no longer with the peace thing. They're saying, no, we want this land. It's rightfully ours.
And we need to follow up on that story. It's been happening for over 30 years.
Yes.
Right now. I remember last year, it became a bit worse even earlier this year. Did an interview with Dr. Malusi Mngube, just breaking it down also what's happening in Goma. And you realize there's a lot of external influence.
There is, because the president of Rwanda, Paul, He's strongly affiliated with US and Israel. Number one, the rebel troops that attacked our soldiers, our South African soldiers, when they were there, were seen wearing US military intelligence like army. They also have missiles, heat sensing missiles, like their technology that they're using. You can tell that they have help, and they were seen with an Israeli tank. Right. So Israel is influencing all these micro wars because what's in the DRC is lithium. Né?
Yeah.
Elon Musk needs lithium for
Yes.
his Tesla batteries.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is strongly affiliated with the US.
Yeah.
So do you see where I'm going with
And
this?
and is it what did they call it? Is it cobalt? Or
Cobalt,
what?
yes.
Yeah, the one they use also for cell phones.
Yes.
Cell phone technology is also mined in
Yes.
the DRC.
So they're trying to make it seem like we're fighting against each other.
Yeah.
When in
No, it's
actual
definitely not a
fact,
tribal war.
They are
Definitely
the
not a
ones
tribal war.
micro-influencing all these little wars because they want to be a superpower, because they can see that China has become a very big superpower, right? China's teaming up with Russia. That can't happen, especially for NATO.
You know, that's the end of NATO.
That's the end of NATO. So they want to gain control completely.
For sure.
And it's a sad thing that we're not realizing this, because they're coming into our countries bit by bit, and then they start a war, and then they go to the next country and start a war. And because we're so angry, it's hard to see past the big idea, what these people are actually doing. So we're going to end up 30 years later again, our resources are gone again.
Yeah.
Because they've
I want to
distracted us.
I want to come to I want to compare that to the South African issue of Orania and all of these white segregational communities, right? Although they say they sit on private land, and of course, you know, private property rights also give them that kind of, you know, a right. But later on, like long-term wise, what are we looking at? Are we looking at something that also can, you know, be influenced by the West to say maybe there's a strategic area that they need to secure through these lobby groups such as, you know, the AfriForum, you know, the Afrikaner
I
groups
think
and all of
so.
that. Yeah. But what I'm interested in what you have to say about this theory that we are talking about, Theo, or about Israel and the US as well.
You know, looking at when the war started on the 7th of October 2023.
You mean the Gaza?
Yeah, the Gaza war with Israel. Israel was starting to unfold its true origin to the world. So it's no sudden shock to us that it's no longer mainstream news. If you want to get information of what is happening in Palestine and Gaza, you simply go to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, it is the only news
Outlet,
media
yeah.
outlet that decisively focuses on Israel, on the Palestinian war that is raging immensely on the civilians. Even when the news starts, the breaking news, it'll be Gaza, Palestine, Gaza, people dying, this, that. So for them, the genocide that they're performing and the ethnic cleansing that they're performing in Palestine, it is of good essence and something that is not supposed to be spoken by the world, of which is wrong. Because right now they're advocating for a building that is being shot in Ukraine by a Russian missile, and it needs to be news. But the death of 200, 300 and something a day of Palestinians, of women and children, it's not news.
It's not news.
It's
yeah.
not news. That's why I'm saying it's something that is unfolding in a shocking way in this modern time for people to witness. And again, for Israel, we don't know how long they can keep up with it, because also the person that has been at the right-hand side of them, which is President Trump, it seems like he's tapping toes on both sides, because you'd expect that his first state visit to the Middle East will be to Israel, but instead it was Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia stands to be one of the countries that has the largest natural gas, close to 44 trillion barrels uncovered. You get me? So you see that Donald Trump is taking the approach of the business essence side of things, and where it might put Netanyahu on. Because the Prime Minister of Israel is now facing a predicament whereby if Donald Trump, during that visit to Saudi Arabia, and they reach an agreement of recognizing the state of Palestine, it's a down blow for Netanyahu and his cabal. So it's gonna be an interesting one to look at, considering the fact that Israel is also making enemies not only in Palestine but going to Lebanon, Yemen. They're threatening to invade Iran, things like that. So we'll see how far they take it and where their partnership with Donald Trump will lead them. Yeah.
What do you these things they're worrying. Where do you think the world is going with all of these wars?
It depends, really, on where the world wants to go.
Yeah.
For example, if Africans look beyond, let's say, the problems like tribal problems, like in the DRC, like look beyond what's happening, right? And we start uniting as Africans, because these people have been successful because we're not united.
Divided.
We're divided. As Africans, we can go as far as we even hate each other in some parts. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's how they're able to take over these minerals bit by bit. So if we backed ourselves the way China's trying to back us, the way Russia's trying to back us, then these wars would be futile. Yeah. Israel wouldn't be able to become the colonial power that they want to become. Yeah. So I really don't. Donald Trump, he's not the person, guys. He's a wishy-washy person. He's all about his money, hey? Yeah. He even said he doesn't care about the war. He just wants his money. Yeah, so he's not the person to look for when you're in a situation like NATO. They're going to find themselves in a situation and the US is not going to back them.
Yeah.
Then what? Because if you're going against Russia, you're going to lose.
Of course.
1,000%.
That's not something you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, hence you see the current sitting president of the US, he's not even in Kyiv, while other world leaders are in Kyiv in support for Ukraine. You get me? So Donald Trump is doing his own things, he's moving his own fashion in order to reach his own goals. And mostly they are business affiliated, and they push the drive of this mindset that he has of transforming the US economy and rebirthing the great US that he wants.
Yeah. You know, when you speak about Israel in the way that they move, I wonder if the support from the US could come to an end. I wonder if they will still be interested in pursuing some of their goals in the way that they do. Because we know, even with any other war, especially right now with what has been happening in Palestine, in Gaza, murdering people. We know the funds, where they came from. We know where the military weapons came from. We know where the support came from. And if people like Donald Trump, who are more of, he's really undecided, I think, for me. Right now, I'm really confused. What is he trying to do, honestly speaking? And with that kind of a person, when he decides to say, I'm going to stop aid, or I'm going to stop, wasting money, giving it to you guys to Israel to go pursue our collective, goal, and I'm going to move as a solo. I wonder if Israel will still, interested in pursuing some of these wars.
I think if the US decided that they're not going to back Israel anymore, a lot of secrets would be dropped. Because remember, the US also has a lot of secrets.
So are you saying Israel holds a lot of secrets, a lot of US secrets?
There are things that they've done together.
Oh, okay.
In countries like Iran, like in the Middle East, predominantly, right? Yeah. Because that is an agenda pushed by the both of them. It's not just the US.
So if we divorce, I'm gonna expose us.
Get expose us. Okay. So we need to continue. We need to see it through this thing. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you all what all these presidents that y'all had in the US did. Because definitely they know. That's how these. I need to have leverage over you in
Yeah.
order for us to be a partnership, because then I have something to lose and you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the relationship of the current world. It's what's in it for me in order for me to pat your back. So for everyone in this world, it's that type of thing. That's where the world is headed. You look at the Israeli citizens, they're protesting in Tel Aviv for the war in Gaza to end. But then the same government is not listening. You get me? So they are pushing their own agenda so that it can fulfill their own benefits and objectives. So it's not in it for the people who are captured in Gaza, the hostages. It's not in it for the civilians who are
Nothing.
getting murdered every day in Gaza. It's for their own benefit and what they can get in it. Yeah.
And do you think all of this? Because I asked you the question. I said, where do you think the world is going with all of these wars?
Yeah.
Because now it's chaotic everywhere.
True.
Right now, what's happening in Mali as well is sad. It's
Yeah.
sad, honestly speaking, and it's sad because no one is.
Broadcasting it.
Yeah, in Sudan right now.
Yeah.
Hectic. No one is televising that.
Yeah.
And now at least we've got something really positive that is happening in the African continent. I mean, we call it now the Ibrahim Traore effect, that we really pray for, I guess, that, certain leaders can really just adapt to that philosophy and just keep going,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very difficult for certain leaders to adapt to that policy because of their affiliations with the West. So, like presidents like Paul Kagame, for example,
Yeah.
how does he then decide that he's going to start being for his people exclusively when he's received so much help from the US and from Israel?
Do you think that's what sustained him in power for like 30 years? Because he's
Definitely,
been there
they
like,
protected him
for the longest time.
1000%. Yes, I mean he was seen in the States at some point years back, so they've been protecting him because he is helping them with their own objectives.
It's so sad watching these African leaders that just that just get neutralized easily. The Kenyan president Ruto.
Hey.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah. I mean, when he was campaigning,
Yeah.
like he spoke a different language.
Yeah, he spoke a different language.
Totally
I
different
agree with
language,
you.
but immediately he got elected. He was a different person.
Isn't that always the case?
Look, that makes me think about the deep state thing. That you know what, the deep state thing maybe is like a common global thing in the
Yes.
sense that there will always be people behind the scenes that are running the show,
Yeah.
and these people will always determine whether you are coming with a different philosophy or a new philosophy or some sort of like a popular philosophy. When you get into office, there is a template, and you just need to apply the template. If you do otherwise, you're probably not going to last.
That's how sustainability
But
of-
it's just sad to witness African leaders like that.
to just give like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes back to your belly being full. Because you're going to think for your stomach, you're going to think for your surroundings solemnly first before you consider. And that's if you'd consider.
So this
You
is
get
just
me?
for you.
So it is just for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it reaches that point.
So then why do you
because-
need people to elect you if it's just for you?
Bro,
Why do we
Because you need
elect you?
power.
We elect you to go eat yourself.
I need power.
That's why I told
So
you
that
the
I
last
can
time
get
that
access
you
to
put
money.
the cross for other people, not for yourself,
Okay,
not to
yeah,
help
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, sure.
That's why they give you a pen and a ballot paper. You get me?
Hence, it's so difficult right now in these countries where the military coups have taken over. It is so difficult to infiltrate those. Because they are military based. They have one objective, and that is their people. They don't care about anything else. Hence, they want to assassinate. That is always the solution. We assassinate this leader because the people believe in him. And once he's dead, the people are hopeless again. And when we bring up another person who's going to continue our objective.
That's why I've said last time that you'll never find a person in Burkina Faso, the land of the incorruptible people, chanting against Captain Traore. You get me? You'll only find people outside the borders of Burkina Faso saying, this is the wrong man. This is not
Building
the
some
man."
campaigns.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why even right now on social media, you'll find this AI tools where you'll find an Ibrahim Traore lookalike using a simulated voice, those kind of things. Those are the missions that they're trying to push, the narrative that they're trying to push. They're not pushing his popularity. They're rather pushing people to be exposed to him, so that when they come with their downfall for him, people already know who they were gunning for.
This is crazy, man. When you think about the Ibrahim Traore thing, and I don't want us to deviate, but like, Odemaya, I'm not sure if you know the guy by the name of Odemaya. So Odemaya is a guy who committed himself to like really touring the entire African continent.
Yeah.
He has done all the African states right now as I speak. The last country that he visited in Africa was Lesotho. So he's a guy from Ghana, lived in China for some time. And when he was in China, what happened was and I hear a lot of people that go to Asia. I also interviewed a lady who went to Korea to teach English. They talk about the same thing, that when they are there, when they watch TV, they see the ads that are playing on TV about Africa, and it's always about that slim kid with a very slim arm, big belly, problem of hunger and all of that. And
still in 2025.
Oh, of course. I did an interview last year, with Ruth Zanele Matlazi, and she went there for a year to teach English. And she was very sad to witness that these people don't have
knowledge,
an idea of who we are, and they don't know about the fact that today we are recording a podcast with so much high level equipment in the market, right? Like, they have no idea, because the media is feeding them a narrative about that.
Yeah, media was never used to spread actual
and I agree
news.
Yeah,
it was always for propaganda,
to push some narrative,
to push a narrative.
Yeah,
that's why we don't know what's actually happening. We have to go and find this information. People don't
for
actually
ourselves.
know. It's not televised. If you speak about Palestine in America, you get cancelled.
So Wodemaya then was living in China years back, right? Then when he starts seeing these ads that are happening, broke his heart, man. Coming from Ghana, he knows that Africa is developed, bro. You see with Ghana, ne? South Africa is great, ne? But like, Ghana is like, the proud African developed kind of like state,
proudly
right?
African,
with South Africa, this is a white economy.
Remember,
we're a
talking
British colony still.
Yeah, with Ghana, we're talking black success, black business, black economy. So coming from there, he knows that this is not the entire story. This is just a portion of it. So he decided, I'm going to take my phone, take everything that I have to create content. I'm going to travel the entire 54 states of Africa, and I'm going to showcase what the real version of Africa. And right now, I think he's sitting at 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube. On I think on Facebook, he's got about 10 million, I think, if I'm not mistaken, followers. So he's got like a huge numbers, right? If I'm not mistaken, I stand for correction with the numbers, but like very huge numbers. So my question is, if media is going to deny us information, real information, can't we take it upon ourselves to really create platforms like Wodemaya, move like Wodemaya, and document and broadcast what we know it is true, instead of, waiting for the media, mainstream media to produce lies, fake news, and things that are really not true.
Through the age of social media, that has become more possible. Social media has opened us up to the rest of the world. So people are taking notice. They're like, oh, actually, Africa is not the jungle that we think it is. But the difficult thing about that is that these people still control these social media platforms that we are using. So it's still very easy to change algorithms, to make sure that even if you do post a video and you're informing people, like my algorithm, I won't find it on my timeline. So I won't know. They're still controlling that narrative. So I don't know if it's possible for us to break out of that.
It's the same thing that this is crazy, because owning your own platform is very important, because when you think about TikTok, the algorithm in China is not working the same as the algorithm in South Africa or in the US. And that's why the US government, wants to ban TikTok completely, because they understand this is a propaganda machine. This is a serious machine, right? That will kill our kids, that will kill our society. And
do you agree that it's a propaganda machine?
TikTok is not a social media, bro.
Yeah, I know, but it's
a tool.
Kill.
It's a serious technological tool.
That's gonna kill.
That is there to spread information.
Exactly.
Information based on the interests of the people that own the platform.
I concur.
So when you look at and this is not even a theory, like people that live in China as well. Neo Letsualo, when he came back from China, we were on a call like for like an hour. He was telling me about how they took them through what TikTok really is, like really understanding what is this. And he was like, this is not social media. This is a very powerful technological tool, and it's going to be used for serious things, serious, information spreading, which might, affect the society in a very difficult way. When you are in China, the algorithm shows you, it doesn't show the girls that are dancing on TikTok. Or those challenges. You see, nowadays, everyone wants to make in amapiano. You are in the amapiano space, Everyone wants to make a song, loop it, challenge on TikTok, trend, da-da-da-da. That's not what's happening in China. In China, the content that pops up on the timeline is very different. The content that pops up on the timeline is the content that is actually motivating. It is the content that is somehow also like... it shows kids that are building, real stuff, like a car or a house in the kindergarten, all of this. Yeah.
They're being taught they are learning AI.
They're learning AI.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, that's why you take a look at Elon Musk. As soon as you obtained X, there were a lot of vast changes on X.
Yeah.
There's a new AI tool there called Grok.
Yeah, Grok.
Yeah,
the same Grok that was.
So a lot of people are complaining about Grok. Bro. Yeah.
So here's my summary of what I think Grok is doing. Grok is trying to get information from you, and you give it willingly, and it gets information. Then Grok lands you. Then Grok is gonna be you. At a later stage.
So you're giving it personality.
Yeah, you're giving it personality.
And because it's learning from thousands of people, it creates like a very complex personality.
So you become a sample of taste. They test it with you in order to see its perfection. As soon as it reaches that stage of perfection, they've perfected you in a technological format. That's how dangerous it is. And a lot of people don't see it that way. It's fun. When you ask it a question, it responds. Yeah, it looks gloomy, but it's not what it is.
Yeah.
That's why even the narration that is being pushed at Twitter right now, it's the thing of post videos. It's no longer about the messaging.
I miss Twitter when it was just characters.
Yeah,
really.
God.
Yeah, right. Twitter is pushing videos.
Yeah,
now.
right now it's intensely on videos.
Yeah, maybe I should go. Maybe I should now. Maybe this is my time to actually be on X then, because I was never on X, because I really like the whole thing of tweets and the way, like the Twitter community or the X community as we know it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same people, right?
And new ones.
A new one, of course.
Yeah, dangerous ones.
And the AI ones.
The black Twitter ones. Yeah.
And the AI ones.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, because I'm more of a video person, like writing, going back and forth with people, that's not really me.
Yeah.
I'd rather produce, a video content and put it out there. And maybe we can engage in the comment section. But that thing of going back and forth really is not me. So maybe, as you are saying that, because you are a person on X, maybe it's time for me to actually... I've found a reason to be on X.
Yeah, it's quite dope, considering that a lot of people, when they're there, they don't quite reveal themselves unless if it's work related.
They're hiding, man.
They're hiding simply because
that's the problem I have with the platform.
They know what
they're hiding.
Push.
A lot of people are hiding.
Yeah, that's the
hiding
way.
themselves.
Why? Listen, if it's not
Why?
business oriented,
Yeah,
it's good to hide yourself, because whatever that you'll be pushing there, be it influencing, be it promotion of business of some sort, you'll be pushing it in that direction. It makes sense.
But a lot of people that are on X or that are on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, of course, it's negative people, man. It's just people that, it's just people that want to meddle in other people's businesses, and they're hiding themselves on top of that. They're not revealing themselves. If I'm confronting you, Theo,
Yeah.
bro, let me take my shades off.
Yeah, straight up.
And let's talk, bro.
Yeah.
Now I've got my shades off, I've got a mask, but I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yes, because when you're on the social media platforms fighting with each other, you're not actually taking focus on what's really going on.
Yeah. You're focusing on solemnly looking at your digital device while not being aware of what's happening in front of your eyes. So it's the world that we've crawled in, and we are deep in it. It's the sad truth.
Yeah.
So propaganda will never stop being pushed for as long as these people are the ones that control
Hence
the
it's
media.
called PR now.
Yeah, so that's why China created their own platform, and they were like, actually, you know what?
We can be competitive.
Yeah,
in
we
this
can be,
field.
and they are a superpower to be like they are a big superpower right now, and it's making the West scared.
So looking at Donald Trump right now, is in Saudi Arabia. AI technology is one of the things that they'll be discussing at their Saudi-US investment forum. So they'll be discussing technology, energy, and things like that. That'll dive in deep in them having quite big relations when it comes to those things and their development. So we are.
But do you really think the Saudi Arabians trust Donald Trump like that?
Look, if it is,
I think Donald Trump is desperate. He's shopping around, man.
he's shopping around. They are also playing it smart. If they are playing it thinking for their brothers, their neighbors, you get me. If they're thinking for it in an essence of cutting a deal with this brood for the Palestinians, it's worth it.
That never
You get
works
me.
out.
It's worth it.
In the end, that never
I mean,
works.
after all, he's a businessman. If they can scoop some business in him, and maybe it might lock him. So, because right now there are rumors that Donald Trump wants to acknowledge and recognize the Palestinians. If that comes to
Can
pass,
you see? That's the exact same
If that
thing
comes to
Elvis is
pass.
saying. That like we don't know what this man is pushing anymore.
Yeah,
He's
like-
just all over the place. 1 minute he's saying,
I don't think he has a plan, man.
yeah, if a man like that,
Freestyling.
yeah, if
He
a man
did-
like
yeah.
that doesn't have a plan, it's good. Don't disturb your enemies while they're making a mistake. So grant them allowance to make the mistake, and let's move on and capitalize on it.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I think let's wrap it up on that topic. I'm just fascinated to find out how where Israel is really gonna go in the next couple of months, years, and their relationship with the US as well.
hopefully they'll burn to crisp because it's burning right now.
Even not,
Hey, what happened to that fire?
It's still there. It's
Where
already
did that fire come from?
from Jesus.
from God.
Jesus.
The fury of God.
Jesus. I agree. Jesus.
No,
was-
because they really did report that this fire
Is
is
it?
beyond
Yeah.
natural proportions. Like they don't know how to control it. They're asking for assistance.
Yeah.
And it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
There was a fire tornado. So they better burn to a crisp, really.
So, and again, we can't only worry about Israel's relations with only the US, the rest of the world, bro. The world is watching, the world is looking. So they also have their own plans. They also have their own beliefs, and they will hold you accountable for whatever that they wish to hold you accountable for, because you are a state of action, a state of genocide, and you'll be held accountable for it. There's no deed that doesn't go unpunished. That they should remember. We stand with the Palestinians, we stand with the people of Gaza, and we will not
And
shy
the
away
people
from
of
that.
DRC
We will not
and
shy
the
away
people of
from that.
India and Pakistan.
Yes, we stand with those people, the people of South Sudan. Those are the people that we stand with.
Do you want to take us through like what happened with the recent UJ students also committing a very unpleasant
Yeah, man. Look,
activity?
you know what happened to that learner?
If you can just give context for someone who's watching right now. Yeah, what really happened?
So a group of students, I think it was 6 of them, from the University of Johannesburg. I'm just not sure which campus.
It's the Soweto campus.
I hope they're registered there, all of them. So they go to Musi High under the influence. I would like to assume.
Yes, they were under the influence.
They start, that is terrorizing, according to me. They were terrorizing learners.
Why?
And harassing them.
So they started stealing things from them. So those learners at their defense, they get attacked. A learner gets stabbed. Imagine as a parent getting a call, you're at work, your son got stabbed.
He's dead.
No, you only get your son got stabbed. You have to respond to that stabbing. When you get there, it's different news. He's dead. So you become shattered, you become confused, you don't know what to do. So it's something quite challenging for the community, and like it has become something like a norm in the schools. They become comfortable with violence.
Yeah.
To a point whereby it's something that they practice more often when they are at the streets. But as soon as they get to their compounds or households, it becomes a different story. It becomes like a person has two characters. The reason why I'm saying this is because I went to a normal government compounded school. I'm saying normal government compounded school because these are common in government compounded schools. And this kind of behaviors that are common because we come in different places, different environments, different societal values. As soon as we interlink, there's that element of poverty that plays in, and that element of wanting to be seen because there's a crowd. So it becomes a problem when it leads to a violent behavior.
So, but my question is, what was the whole thing about? Like, what were they doing in the school? Like, okay, cool, yes, they harassed it, the learners, and ended up even, unfortunately, with one of the learners, dead. But why? Why are you not on campus? Why?
What are you doing at a high school?
Yeah, what are you doing at a high school? I don't understand.
So initially, when I first saw the article, right, because when it first broke, they didn't explain as to
why,
what inspired these learners to go and start harassing the students. I thought it was over a girl because often, and this happens in mostly in townships.
Yeah.
Students that are in varsity or even older people will then go and start being busy with high school girls, right? And then the boys in the high school get angry and then start. I thought it was that type of thing because it has happened so many times, only to find out he got killed over his own beanie. Like, really? What are you doing at a high school, please? You are in varsity, supposedly. It makes no sense as to, were you trying to show that you're a big boy now? Or, like, is it gang affiliated? Like, what's going on?
That's very irresponsible. Your career is over.
Yeah.
Your life.
Forget about that qualification.
Your life.
Just forget.
That's very, very irresponsible.
It is, extremely. Look, this kind of behavior is common. Like, for me, it's not new because hence I'm telling you that I grew up in a government compounded school. Like, that's where I learned.
Where there were gangs in school.
Yeah, even. Things like that.
Yeah.
Where there were guns at school. You get me? Where teachers teaching and there's a guy that is playing with the bullet on a table. You get me?
Where did you go to school?
You get me? So
did you go to school, bro? Was that a school?
It was a school, bro. Trust me.
That doesn't sound like a school.
It was a school.
Yeah?
It was a school. If I can tell you the experiences that I had at school, like, they're crazy.
Bullets,
bro.
please.
A bullet, a whole gun at school. It was normal for us.
No
You
ways.
get me? It was normal. So I'm trying to paint that picture that
the violence was always there.
Yeah, the violence was always there. It's just
cool
said
to be violent
it's
now.
sad because right now it looks cool to be violent. You get me? As our violence didn't accelerate to a point whereby someone would be murdered. Yeah, we were surrounded by violence in schools, but then it wasn't to a point whereby someone gets murdered or gets hurt. Like right now, it's common. It's common in the townships.
Yeah, because you want to
It's
show
hurt.
that you're a big boy. So it was the mentality
Over
of,
someone's
"Ntwana
life?
iritwaela hambi. Who does he
Nah,
think
bro.
he is? Let's show him."
Nah.
And they stabbed him mercilessly, just like that. Because they want to show that they're big boys.
So what happens now? Are the police involved or what?
Yeah, so they're currently in police custody, awaiting trial, I guess, which is going to take years. We know South African law.
No, but I don't think this case is just gonna be like.
Come on, Senzo Mewa's trial is still ongoing.
Yeah, look, with Senzo Meyiwa trial,
There's a
honestly
lot of
speaking,
them.
You know, with cases like this, you know what I understand, ne? Unless if someone related to some of those boys from varsity is in higher places, can influence, can cause some shots. Those boys are gone, man.
No, they are gone.
They're
but
gone.
what I'm saying is the process. Our law takes forever to get to the point of sentencing you, and now you are inside prison because they might be first-time offenders, so they might go out on bail. Do you get what I mean? That's how our law works.
See, this
So
is
now
why I
they're
have a problem
outside.
with the law. It's
Yeah, and intimidating.
Oh,
And
you
it's
have a
going to
problem
take
with the law.
years because there's still cases from 2013 that are still going on now. You're not a priority. You're going to be last on the list. So unfortunately, I really hope they don't get bail, to be quite honest.
They shouldn't.
Because this crime,
shouldn't.
it was a violent crime. And the motive behind it is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. Like, now the students are scared
Yeah.
because of this. So I really hope they don't get bail.
Okay, yes.
You know,
sorry to interrupt.
even this law enforcement
Yeah, that's the one.
officers that were put in place by the Premier of Gauteng, I don't know what do they call them. Do you know by any chance?
Mapanyas?
Yeah, my green beans.
The green bean.
So my green beans, they were supposed to.
My green beans.
Yeah.
That's what
Where
they
did
call
that
them.
name come from?
'Cause they
It's
wear
common
all
in the
green.
township, bro.
No, they
It's called
call-
my green beans.
Yeah, Baba beans are my green
I
beans.
get bapara,
Bapara
military green.
Yeah, they were military
Oh, okay.
green.
Yeah.
So my green beans, ne? It's cases like this that should be prevented. I'm pretty certain there's a lot of them, and the sectors of the forums that they are tackling in the townships according to their programs. Now, my question is, within those sectors that they're tackling according to their programs, is there a placement for schools in place whereby they'll be there to protect the learners and see if learners are right within the exit of school premises when the
I
school is
think
out and stuff?
The green beans, because I
The
can
green
say,
The green beans.
I can say from my first-hand experience how I've seen them operate in my township. Right, they're first responders. They are quicker than
Yeah.
SAPs. Way quicker. You
Really?
call them now. Within 10 minutes, they are at your location.
They do what after that?
And then they will take whoever, they work hand in hand with
Yeah,
SAPs,
yeah.
basically. So let's say it was an armed robbery or it was a break-in, right? They'll capture you, they'll hit you, they will beat you up.
No wonder they driving BMWs, man.
And then they put you in the van and then take you personally to the police station.
Sure.
So that, and then they'll relay what happened. So in that sense, I think they need to be called to the scene first. They aren't always there.
Even
Yeah.
They do patrol, but I don't think, like, nobody would think, okay, let me just mice at the school, and see what's happening.
That's why I'm saying it's supposed to be a program in hand that they are obliged to do it, because I'm pretty certain learners who go to school, they no longer get searched when they enter the premises of a school. So they can enter with weapons, they can enter with drugs, they can enter with whatever that they want.
Yeah.
And also free to leave as soon as the school is out.
Yeah.
So they should put a program that is active, that makes them be there, working.
I
Not
mean,
roaming around the townships with BMWs, the body feeler. Like, no, bro. They should be doing something.
They're rocking
beyond.
those BMWs, man. Like they rocking them. Yo.
Again, like really, why would the government like opt to buy them BMWs?
So that they can arrive fast in 10 minutes.
Come on, bro.
You wanna buy them
German
Yaris?
spec.
Or-
It arrives now.
Or like you can't buy them. Look, you really need to get them like fast cars, man.
Like the highest office of government, they drive a BMW. The lowest office of law enforcement is driving a BMW.
But it's
Where's
law enforcement. You
Where's
understand?
logic there?
Look, when we were in high school, we used to have like regular visits from like SAPs and stuff and Sanka, things like that. We'd
programs
get
like
tours to go to prison and
Yeah.
see what your life is going to look like.
You
And that
get
used to
me?
scare us. I won't lie. Shame.
Yeah.
That's so that doesn't happen anymore.
It comes back to the education system. They've
Oh,
stopped.
shame.
They've stopped programs
Angie
like
did her
that
big one
so
there.
that they're gonna push their own narratives, whatever that they're pushing, because learners are no longer getting what they're supposed to get in terms of academics, in terms of knowing where they're headed when it comes to life orientation, in terms of them knowing that this is the right path for me to take as a learner. They no longer have that because the programs are no longer there in place. They've been scrapped out. They've been scrapped. It's about textbook, buka, learn, this, that. They feed you with knowledge that you don't see, so that the knowledge that you are supposed to see, you just expect it as it comes.
Yeah,
and it
because
rolls
if you're
with you.
too smart, Theo, then you're not going to vote for them. So
Yeah, I
you
guess.
have to be in a certain way,
Yeah.
think in a certain way, believe that they are saving you in order to vote for them.
You're
Yeah.
doomed.
Yeah.
You're
Cool. Let's wrap it up this way. But before we close, let me give a shout out to Eagle Vision Studios. This is where we're shooting our podcast, and like I said, we drop this one on every Monday, 3 p.m. So if you are new on this platform, you're seeing this for the very first time, just know next week Monday we'll be with you again, doing the same work. Eagle Vision Studios is located in Protea Glen, Soweto, and they can be able to help you record your own podcast. You can do your own photo shoot as well. They've got really dope studios here. You can also do voiceover recordings and also music as well. So if you're into music, you can come. There's like really high level equipment that can assist you to, produce proper music, but also record proper music as well. Yeah. Otherwise,
Shout out to our team behind the scenes.
Yeah,
too.
of course.
Elvis, how can you forget?
Yeah.
Shout out to our
Shout
team,
out,
guys.
shout
The
out,
best
shout
in the
out.
game.
Blinders.
yeah.
Oroliders.
And Z on the sound.
Yeah, Mz is on the sound. We've got Oro and Toby as well, handling the cameras there. Toby's on post-production as well. So, the work that you see there, that's the man.
They're quickie.
Yeah,
They're
it's Toby Rocks. You can check him out as well on the Instas,
In the social media.
Are you on Facebook, Doc? Do you do Facebook?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, okay. Are you on X?
Nah.
Okay, you just like me, so yeah. I had X is also pushing some videos. Maybe you and I saw a chance to jump on
maybe
X
we
right
should
now.
get on that.
Yeah. All right. I wanted us to wrap up the show because I think we are late already, right? Yeah. So I think that's how we end the show. Unless if you want to say something before I close, Theo, Ket.
No, that's
nice,
it from
nice.
us.
Shout out.
All right. Thank you so much. It is a wrap. I'll see you on the next one. My name is Elvis Mulifimov, and this is Break It Down Mondays.
Shout out.